We discussed it, and he thought the only thing that got me going was real estate. And so I decided to really invest all my time and energy into it.
You've got some great skill sets that you bring to the table, and also these are differentiators as far as I see.
And you're a good reminder to prioritize making life worth living. I mean, you can't keep putting money aside for one day.
And the difference between the prisoners of war who survived and thrived versus those who didn't is the difference between optimism and belief. Hi, I'm Clark Vautier. I am a marketing consultant, and I'm here with my good friend Michael Abraham, who is a real estate agent that we like to joke. I keep telling him I didn't realize he's a real estate agent because every time I'm with him, he tells everybody he's a real estate agent. So, Mike, how'd you get here today?
That's a complicated question. I'll try to be succinct. I think my interest as a kid, what came naturally to me was being creative. My mother's an artist. My father's a doctor. But that was the skill that kind of resonated with me. However, I didn't really see a path. It wasn't logical how you made a good living as an artist. I didn't really understand it. So I kind of had this very circuitous career. I went to school, got a degree in art and economics, worked as a designer, kind of a bumpy moment. Thought architecture would be a good pivot, combining technology and art. Went back to school to become an architect. And then right after graduation, I fly out to LA to become an architect. I do that for a number of years, and I didn't love it. I wanted to do more. And I think because I got a master's, I was less patient than other people. So a good friend of mine and I, Silicon Beach was kind of taking shape. We decided we would start our own marketing company. And over 15 years or so, we ran that business through so many different permutations. But I still had this itch to get back to real estate. And so oddly enough, Anya, she came to me for a project. Turns out I was also looking to buy something, and she was the realtor of my first investment. And then a few years ago, essentially, our company was more or less acquired. So it kind of gave us a moment to kind of reflect, my business partner and I, and we decided we didn't want to start another one. And we discussed it. And he thought the only thing that got me going was real estate. And so I decided to really invest all my time and energy into it in every aspect, from investing to being a realtor. And I love it.
I'm always fascinated by people's career journeys and how they get to where they are and what the choices they make. Life, has to be lived going forward, but it only makes sense looking backwards. And so you've touched on a few things in your past that make total sense in terms of what you bring to the table as a realtor: design, marketing, architecture. It seems very congruous. Like, you've got some great skill sets that you bring to the table, and also these are differentiators as far as I see. What was the pivotal point where you made that decision, I'm going to become a realtor? Well, talk about that.
I had another idea it was almost like one of those things you watch on YouTube, how to get rich quick. Get affiliate links, and I was going to start selling products, and it went nowhere. And I realized that just isn't my skill, and nor is it something I'm passionate about. And after that, didn't really go anywhere. I realized the only thing that really made sense was going full force into real estate. So essentially, I already knew that was an interest of mine, but I didn't know what it would look like. And I also knew that you don't get $1 as a realtor. You have to earn every single dollar, which is a little bit intimidating. But everyone I met said, you'd be good at it. It's kind of like the general feedback, which simply means that I like to talk and I like architecture and I like it. Liking it doesn't mean you'll be good at it, because it's like people saying, I love architecture, I love to go in homes. It's like, do you like to pick up the phone and network and talk to every stranger? That's how you actually create business, not liking architecture. So I think in the end, I talked to enough people. Our mutual friend Ari encouraged me. I shadowed him a day or two. When I spoke to Anya, she thought, again, I'd be good at it. And I think having her kind of take me under her wing, that really helped. And I just said, let's do it.
Fantastic. There's what you know about a profession, and there's what you don't know. And then there's also what you don't know. So let's talk about what are some of the things you didn't know about real estate.
The test doesn't prepare you for anything. Let's begin with that. I'm not saying it's good to learn most of the stuff it has in there. The biggest thing is how little positive confirmation you're doing anything right takes place in the beginning. I mean, it is crickets. Unless you're one of those unique people that either through nepotism or luck or whatever, you strike gold quickly, you will send out tens of thousands of emails, make all these calls, and you will get no feedback. And when you finally do, it comes in this surprising way. A mutual friend had a sister out here that was my first listing. You just got to believe that there will be this critical mass, this point in which it will give you some directional feedback. But in the beginning, you're just kind of like walking through there. Oh, where do I go? What do I do? I always say, team up with somebody good. That will give you a lot of directional focus. But that would be one thing. I would also say there's a lot of things that are fun. Working with clients, helping them make one of the biggest decisions of their life, guiding them, getting involved. Everybody in the business, the ones that I interact with, are very entrepreneurial. They're happy to share their ideas. So it's very collaborative. It's a lot of fun. You are your own boss. You just got to work hard.
What is your strength? What's your superpower?
Oh boy. I would say right now I go to the word resilient, and also I've kind of reframed this idea in which I am not going to set a deadline for when I determined this decision was a success. So I started Haps Club, which is a sort of an event thing. It was 20 people. Last event we had 120 people. You've come to most of them. I've had support of all my good friends, and it's sort of taken on a life of its own. But had I measured it after the first event, would have quit.
Yeah.
And the same thing applies to anything we've done. You don't know what you need to do to make it a success. And I used this, I heard somewhere, I think it was Hermosi, he was saying, oh, I'll do 500 flyers a month. And his mentor said, I do 50,000. Talk to me then.
Yeah.
So we don't appreciate the magnitude of effort that goes into getting even one client. But once you start developing that system and seeing that cadence, things look better, it's still hard.
I just learned about the Stockdale Principle based from the military general, and the difference between the prisoners of war who survived and thrived versus those who didn't is the difference between optimism and belief. And the optimists did not survive. And so I think you've touched on that key word there, belief.
Yeah.
And there's no time limit on that.
No.
It's doing the work, the results will come out of that. And so what keeps you going? What keeps you fired up?
I got to make a living. That's one. I believe in the city. I believe in real estate as something, one, to build wealth. I also believe it's a great thing to invest in. I've come to the realization when anyone talks negatively about it, they have something else to sell, which is fine. I like all the aspects of it. I get to be creative. I get to help people make a big decision, which I believe in and I care about. You get to apply all your creativity. So we're doing this right now. No one is making us have this conversation. I coordinated, found this great location with the help of Ari. You agreed to come. So you get to just come up with things and just decide how you want to position yourself in the market. And whatever you do, if you do enough of it, you probably will be successful. It doesn't matter. If you just know bathrooms better than anyone else, architecture, know how to spot the best property or the value add, or know every single developer in the city, pick a lane and work it, you can make it work. So I think it's just fun that there's no one way to be successful. And ultimately, I've always been a self-starter, and real estate gives me enough of a framework. I've attempted other businesses, product business, SaaS platform businesses. I don't know them. Real estate is more formulaic. It's challenging. I think I mentioned we're in escrow on an 8-unit building. You can leverage yourself and get better.
What is it that you find fulfilling or that brings you joy with this career?
I think it's always unfolding and it's never stale. So I'm someone who can't do the same thing every day. So one day you're meeting with clients, one day you're looking at open houses. You can go from a $2 million home to a $50 million home if you just want to experience it. You meet a lot of interesting people. The joke is the second industry in the city is real estate after entertainment. One day it might be number one. So everyone's curious to talk about it. And in the end, removing whether you buy or sell, where you live is important, and it's a reflection of you. And so to me, it's a fun thing. It's a fun conversation. And I like this idea. Your house becomes a home when you fill it with yourself, when you fill it with all the things that matter to you. So I just believe in it, and I like it. And I think ultimately I like the entrepreneurial side of the business. You figure out what you want to do and then try. Having a great team, being a part of Compass, they give you a lot back because they provide a lot of foundation. And it's fun.
Yeah, sounds like you enjoy the variety. What would you say is your Achilles heel? What are you not so good at?
Well, my cooking can be hit or miss. Besides that, the minutia. And I really wanted this year, I'm trying really hard to not use a checklist as a means to measure whether or not the day was productive, because often the things in your checklist are actually low priority, and really kind of focusing on the big rocks, such as, for instance, if investing in real estate. When you do that, you really become an expert in what you're talking about. But these are big choices that you make a decision now that you have to then work on for the next 6 months to a year. So essentially making sure that I set myself up to do those projects and don't get caught up in the little minutia. And I'm trying. So I really like my checklists. I have Post-it notes and I have checklists. Avoiding that as a way to measure whether or not the day was productive. You have one great conversation better than sending out a bunch of random emails.
Yeah.
So finding that balance.
So you just hit a big milestone. You had your first year in real estate. Well done.
Thank you.
Successful year. You achieved a lot. What's your vision? What's your bigger vision for this career?
Well, you said we need a yacht at a minimum, 100 yards long? The big goal would be to continue doing this, get better at it, and ultimately just build a great business. And also alignment with my life, which means I want to be able to travel, I want to do fun things. I mentioned I want to build an ADU, but to me, sure, I can rent it out and make money, but what also is equally exciting is now I have a place for people to come visit and stay with me. So just keep adding value to my life, but making sure each and every day I'm doing something I enjoy, because you could still be miserable in great weather. You could still be overworked, and it's just a matter how you decide what to do.
Too much sun can burn you.
Yeah, I mean, you're really great at it, and you're a good reminder to prioritize making life worth living. I mean, you can't keep putting money aside for one day. So finding that balance. And what I do enjoy about the business is that when you take a project like a dilapidated home and turn it into something wonderful, I find it very gratifying. I even like being a landlord and a superhost. Yes, I am a superhost. I raised the rent recently, and my tenant said, thank you. I don't think she wanted the rent to go up, but it was more that I've always been there for her as best I can, be helpful. And so for me, I derive pleasure in every aspect of it. Don't get me wrong, there are challenges, but I get a kick out of it. I like helping people, so it lends itself to my natural tendency. Also, last thing, I kind of like 6-month projects, 8-month projects. I don't want like a 2-day project. So it's that kind of cadence of creativity that works well with me.
Couple more questions.
Okay.
I know we could talk for hours. How would your clients describe you?
Well, I joke that sugar and spice. I'm just the sugar, I'm the spice. I'm a little bit more direct. I want to get it done. On top of it, responsive, direct, friendly enough. And a good compliment to Anya in the sense that we both have our strengths. She's a bit more patient. I'm a bit more organized.
Yeah.
But in the end, what matters is the final delivery, which is something
You get stuff done.
yeah, but also in the end, the client doesn't care how it got done. Did it get done? All they want is a 2-minute conversation, and that's where I feel confident this career for the foreseeable future isn't going to be gobbled up by AI, because most people do not want to do any of it. They want to know it's getting done. That's why they're having us do the work.
Last question for you,
Okay.
Mike. What made you smile today?
Seeing you, for one, just having this little get-together come together. I was here because Ari had me on the podcast, and I thought what a great way to just create content and have a way to connect with people that want to know me and want to know more about the business. And so it's really simple. You go online, you book something, then you invite people, you create the calendar, everybody shows up, everybody brings energy, we get a laugh, we have a good time. So simply that one click of a button creates such an amazing experience that you can look forward to. So really just being here with you.
Fantastic. Well, great chatting with you.
Thank you, sir.
We'll do it again.